when we are referring actually about the preparation manual, my dear friends, very, very important actually aspect I am going to actually unfold to you. And ask this question to them. Now being a teacher, my dear friend, when actually we are entering in a classroom and you are not well prepared, what is your experience then on that day? They will say, sir, on that day we feel also very uncomfortable. And mind well, my dear friends, students also feel the same. They realize my teacher is not well prepared today. And what is the significance of it? That we need to actually understand. Because when teacher is actually teaching to any student, any topic, any subject for that matter, and student is learning actually from that particular teacher, that comes only once in life of that teacher, and that comes once in the life of the students as well. The same teacher, the same topic, same student is not actually going to actually come again and again. So my dear friend, this is a lifetime opportunity for teacher to deliver whatever a topic is delivering to the student. If that is the case, then let me visualize which are those lifetime opportunity for us in our life. For example, you just actually float this actually question to them. For example, marriage. We do once in life. What we do for that? We start actually preparing 1 year before. Right from selecting the menu, venue, card, and list of invitees and the clothes and jewelry and so many things comes in. Why? And we feel so happy. We feel so energetic inside to cherish that day because that comes only once in life. Is that the same cherishness there? That energy comes actually when we are entering in a classroom, and until that doesn't there, that nobility is not actually going to actually fill back any of the teacher. So my dear friend, mind well, preparation is not actually the word. Here we have to actually implement in toto. And that's why significance of the teaching plan is very, very important. Because classroom teaching and learning, that is once in life. And group of the students, that must be there in your plan, because you will find in the classroom there are actually some set of students who are very brilliant. There are some sets of the students who are mediocre. There are some sets of the students actually who are not so good and not so intelligent. But in your plan, you have to actually visualize them. I am going to actually now ask certain questions to those students who are not actually able to understand my session. For them, I have actually certain plan readily available with me. Those students who are really good and very brilliant need to actually give them certain higher tasks. So let me actually plan something higher for them. And until and unless we don't actually occupy this all requirement in your plan, I'm telling you, you just cannot actually create that impression as a teacher on them. And teaching is all about the inspiration. They will not actually get any inspiration. And otherwise also, my dear friend, if you just take a cross section of our attendance in the classroom, what is the scenario? The scenario is that 30-35% people are there in the class, and rest majority of the people, they are preferring not to actually come and sit in your class. Have they not actually paid the fees? Have they just actually now coming just to actually pass the time in class and college? Mind well, my dear friend, I will not hold any student responsible for this, because the highest actually stake is with him only. And in spite of having highest stake with him, he is still actually preferring not to actually come and sit in your class. Should we actually hold him responsible for this? This question actually we need to actually address them. Now somewhere actually we need to actually address within, somewhere I need to actually prepare according to their requirement and need. And that must actually come in my teaching plan. And that's why I mentioned there, what I mentioned, innovative teaching and learning methods we need to actually adopt. When we are teaching actually different subject, and within the subject there are different topic, the question comes when subject itself is a different, how actually we can teach this all subject in the same manner? Generally what we see in majority of the cases, my subject is different from other subject. Then let me actually understand what is required, certain methodology to deal my subject effectively with the student. I need to learn those all methods. And until unless I don't do this, I will be just like a mediocre teachers. Correct? And we are not here. Tell them very, very concretely, we are not here as a resource. We are here to educate you to understand the need of the hours. Correct? Then alignment of the topic with the real life example and applicability, because they see the life through you. If you just actually quote and write example which can actually help student to understand the concept, it's going to actually remember for long time. So this is the value of preparation. You cannot actually quote an example all of a sudden in the class. No. Examples to be designed. Examples to be planned. Then actually you will be able to actually quote. So this is all about the preparation, what actually you have to explain when we are referring about the basic fundamental. What is the next? Which is very important. And don't disclose this until unless you don't actually ask certain question to them. The next third slide I am referring. What is that? My dear friend, as a teacher, tell me, right from the day of appointment till day of retirement, whole life as a teacher, what we do? Lot of actually different questions, different answers will come. But remind them, as a teacher, right from the day of appointment till day of retirement, we are not doing anything, any work except communication. And then actually this word must come there. And let them be silent for a few seconds. Communication, yes. And they will say, yes sir, they are doing actually communication. Irrespective of any level of actually student you deal in, any subject you are actually not dealing with, you are doing nothing more than the communication, I am telling you. If that is the case, then we need to understand entire life as a teacher, I have already stated. And my dear friend, acceptance and the rejection of a teacher, not only in the classroom, even out of the classroom, largely depend upon how effectively he is communicating to their students. That we need to tell them very boldly and very commandingly. So my dear friend, if that is the case, we don't have any other alternate. We need to have a command on the language. If that is the case, are we working on it? Time has actually come to look into this area very seriously. Second, when we are referring about the communication, is that the only language we are referring? No. Language cannot be referred as a communication, because through language we express. So language becomes a medium of expression. Communication is much beyond that. And just imagine, my dear friend, your own class, when we are dealing with the student for 45 minutes to 60 minutes, in this actually 45 minutes to 60 minutes, tell honestly how much time you speak and how much time you are allowing your student to speak. Their answer will come, they will start feeling uncomfortable. And they realize inside, that is very true sir, only we speak and we are not allowing the student to express. Sometime, very occasional. And now narrate this. Tell me, my dear friend, what we are creating in the classroom. The passive listeners, not the active learners. When we are referring about the communication, and the same students who are learning how to listen only throughout the life as a student, and when they start their career and appear for the interview, they fail because of what? They fail because of not knowledge. They fail because they don't know how to express and communicate. So are we preparing them to just listen and forget? No. As a teacher, we need to actually give them equal weightage. Not necessarily what we are communicating to them and telling to them is all right. No. Probably they must be having a lot of actually good things to actually share with you. Let them argue. Let them actually now have actually their different opinion. Let them actually now express themselves. And until that is not done, communication is not done at all. And I am very confident they all will be agreed to you. Correct? And we are all educating to them and educating them for the right cause. And that's why the last word is also equally important. Telling them is not enough. We need to actually reconfirm what you told to them, whether that is well received by them or understood by them or not. So reconfirmation of the learning is also equally important. Don't wait for that examination to happen and result to declare. By that time it is too late. No teacher can teach the same thing again and again. So in the classroom itself actually we can do these corrective measures. Then feedback, which is very, very important. Here actually we can certainly have this word here. What happened, my dear friend? Feedback having one of the very important fundamental of our profession. Tell them, how many times actually this happened in your life as a teacher? You went in the cabin of principal and asking for, sir, you appointed me for the job. I'm teaching to my subject, I'm teaching my subject to my student. Let me understand from you, honest opinion, honest feedback, how I am teaching this subject to my student. Sir, can you share your feedback, sir, with me? And tell me honestly, my dear friend, as a teacher, how many times that we do? We always actually now have that fear in mind, why to actually go and just actually ask this question to my principal, well, mujhe maar. जैसा चल रहा है वैसा चलने दीजिए ना, let him be happy in his cafe, let me be happy in my classroom. चलना जब तक चलना तब तक तो चल ही सकता है. My dear friend, mind well. If you ask this question to them, it will reflect on your attitude. Yes, probably I have seen a lot of teachers in my life, but there are only few teachers who want to develop themselves, and they are very honest to ask this question to me. Forget about the principal right now for some time. Okay, that fear is always there in the mind of the teachers. Tell me that, dear friend, when you are there in the class with the students, how many times you ask this question to them? Dear student, I am teaching this subject to you. Let me understand from you honestly how I am teaching this subject to you. You feel so? If some gap exists, let me understand to you where is that gap. So I can actually improve as a teacher. Tell me, my dear friend, if suppose a teacher is asking this question to the students, what will happen? The kind of expectation we have that students are supposed to develop, don't you think that student also will see they are not actually asking me to actually develop, they are equally concerned about their own development as well. And that actually we need to imbibe, because learning and teaching is all about the development, and that doesn't happen openly. Is very difficult to actually create that impression on the student, I'm telling you. And that's why from the principal, you can actually certainly take this feedback. Directly actually from the students, actually you can certainly take this feedback. Not only this, then what we have to do with that feedback? Self-assessment. Challenge yourself. Generally what we do? We compare actually our result vis-a-vis other result of actually other faculty member. अच्छा तुम्हारे इसमें सिर्फ 8 ही फेल हुए क्या? अच्छा मेरे इसमें थोड़ा सा 10 हो गए. अच्छा तुम्हारे इसमें 8 हुए, मेरे इसमें 4 हुए. Now see, doesn't have any value. Doesn't have any value. See that this year in my class, 5 students actually appeared in the merit list. Let me actually challenge. Let me now set my own goal. Next time I want to actually see at least 10 to 12 students actually must come in the merit list of the university. That is my challenge. That is my feedback. Why that cannot happen? Any circular is required for this? Any instruction is required for this? Nothing. That we need to actually imbibe inside and put forward and see people will follow you. 100% is my guarantee. So this is the feedback, value of the feedback. Then my dear friend, one of the very important component comes in. And don't actually show that word there, because that word is also equally important. And create that curiosity in the mind of the teachers. Tell me, dear, when you are there in the class with the student in absence of principal, in absence of head of the department, in absence of their parents, in absence of anybody from the society, who is a leader there? Who is a leader there when you are dealing with the student? Then you will get the sir, teacher is the leader at that time. Then you need to actually ask question. If you are a leader at that time when you are dealing in the absence of those all stakeholders, and if you don't exhibit your leadership quality, people will not consider you as a leader, I'm telling you. Then ask them, what are the leadership quality we have to actually exhibit? As a teacher, you must have that ability to actually keep them motivated. As a leader, you must actually understand their issues and problems. The kind of expectation we have actually from our leader, the same expectations are there actually from the students also. That energy actually must flow from one to all 60 students sitting there. You must be so energetic. They must actually get the inspiration out of you. That is the work of a leader. You must have that proper control on them so they can actually go on the right path. And you are the resource of morality and the value for them in the class. And if you don't exhibit, my dear friend, they will not actually now follow anything actually what you say. But question must be coming in your mind. You ask actually this question to them. The question must be coming in your mind, why I am supposed to learn these all leadership quality? Principal is there, another department is there, so many other people are there, let them do that leadership. I will not do it. Quite agree. No problem on that, sir. But tell me, and just actually now for a second, you just actually keep this all school and college aside and go back to your home. Tell me, who is a leader in your home? They will be shocked to know how this question is there. And what is the rational answer for this? Sir, I am a leader at my place. Then ask question, are you allowing somebody to lead your home in your absence? They will say, sir, no. Then don't you think you also actually have that leadership quality to run your home? Who is going to actually now understand the problems and issue of your home? You. Who will inspire? Who will motivate? Who will energize the people at your home? Sir, me. Then workplace and even at your home, everywhere leadership is required. So we need to acquire and imbibe this because you are not a teacher. You are a very important component of the family as well as of the society. People are looking at you as a leader, and if you don't, then they will not follow you, whatever I can say. So that's why we need to imbibe this quality and exhibit as and when opportunity comes, and that comes in your way very often. Correct? That's why I mentioned home and workplace, both the places actually leadership is required. Now, my dear friend, this is very, very important. Actually, slide quickly coming. Now, my dear friend, is all basic fundamental on the basis of teaching of APJ Abdul Kalam. What APJ Abdul Kalam sir was referring about when he was alive, very oftenly he was telling to the people. What he was telling? He was telling the mind is not an empty vessel. I mentioned there, the mind is not an empty vessel to be filled, but a fire to be ignited. How long actually we are going to actually fill these facts and figure in their mind? Mind well, my dear friend, they are also equally talented. Give them the space to find out what they have in their mind and ignite their all thoughts. And that's why he mentioned so beautifully what he mentioned about your role is there. Teacher have a great mission to ignite the minds of the young, and to whom actually you are referring. I am referring to the student. Don't you think that is all essential? Don't you think that is very important? And my dear friend, why actually I am referring here? Give them actually now one more convincing point to discuss. How to convince them? What statistics says? The 65% population of our country falls in young category. And out of that, when we are addressing to the school children, around 35 to 40% students are there in the school. And we keep moving across the globe saying that and feeling very proud. India is the most young country, is going to remain young for next 35 to 40 years. Hats off to our country. But mind well, my teacher, they are under you. They are all nurturing themselves actually under you. And if they don't get proper guidance from you, and they don't actually nurture properly actually from you, if you don't actually become a right mentor for them, the kind of actually pride what actually you are feeling about the nation and the new generation is going to actually boomerang very badly on us. And you will be held responsible for this. Such a big responsibility is there on your shoulder, which we never experienced in the past, which what actually we are going to actually experience through you in next 25, 30 and 40 years. So your role is not restricted only in the class, your role is much bigger than that. And that's why this Teacher in You program is for you. So this is the end of the first talk. Well convinced or not convinced?
Yes,
We are moving in the right direction?
Yes, sir.
Is all motivating inside?
Yes, sir.
Because ultimately as a facilitator or as a faculty when we are going there, our role is that to trigger the thoughts in their heart and mind. And probably that is the work actually what we have to do, and we are doing in a very rational manner. Nothing is exaggerated here. Everything actually what we just now discussed is all about the reality. Correct? So with this, we'll break here for tea. Tea is waiting outside. And immediately after 15 minutes time, we have to actually reassemble now. And if you have actually any queries, you can actually certainly raise in between. Everybody sitting here? Should I? Yeah. So we have seen the fundamental of teaching profession just now. on the basis of teaching of Honorable APJ Abdul Kalam sir. Now we'll see very important component of our teacher in you. And just actually have this slide at the time of presentation and throw this question to them. Okay, what are the challenges we have in our profession to serve this society in a much better way? And the moment actually you throw this challenge or like throw this question to them, they will come with a lot of problems, issues and so many things. Hear them very carefully, I am telling. And after actually hearing them, you just actually now come with this slide, which is one of the very important slides to now discuss with them. What is that slide? This is one of the biggest challenge ever we have seen in our teaching profession. What is the challenge? To build a seamless pathway. To build a seamless pathway from classroom teaching to productive career for all the students. And that is the objective of teaching as such. That is the objective of learning actually for the students. And what is the value of it? Okay, whatever actually we are teaching to them in the classroom, either in school or college, until and unless that is not well aligned with the career development, no teaching will be so effective. Then take a pause for some time and ask this question. Okay, now my dear friend, as a teacher, when we are teaching them in the classroom, what we are doing? We are creating roots. We are creating what? We are creating roots for their career. And if roots are very strong, then actually we can think of actually having something strong on it. And just imagine if roots are not so strong, then what will happen to that student? You expect he will build his own career? No. So when actually we are referring about the career, that is not in isolation. Always remember what we are teaching to them having its own value to create roots for their life. And that's why we need to actually create what? A bond between classroom to career. And until and unless your student doesn't understand the value of it, what they are learning and for what purpose, the intrinsic level of their learning will not be there. Otherwise, what happens? They learn just to write an examination. An examination is not only career. Examination is not the career. Examination is something else and career is something else. And until and unless we don't actually align this learning in the classroom with their building of career, intrinsic learning environment cannot be built. Very simple. So we need to actually tell them like this. If that is the case, then we'll understand. We are all like in our 21st century. Then what is the requirement of the 21st century? Today's workplace needs people who can solve the problems. Then ask this question to them. Don't you think? Just imagine, my dear friend, in any organization, people are there who don't know how to solve their problem. Then what happens to them? They become problem for the organization. Yes or no? Obviously, they will reply yes. So are you going to actually create a society of this? The full of problems? The students who don't know how to actually solve their problems? When they themselves is not actually able to solve their problems, do you feel so? They will be solving the problem of the society and the organization they will be serving in? No. So today's requirement is what? If at all actually we want to mold them for their career, we need to understand they must have that ability to solve their problem. It is not enough. What is most important requirement apart from that? They must have that ability to connect with the people. Why connection is required? Because nobody is going to actually work anywhere in isolation. They have to actually work with the people. They have to actually work with the people. And if they don't nurture, if they don't train, if they don't learn how to connect with the people, the disconnect will remain forever. Disconnect will remain forever. And mind well, my dear friend, you are a teacher, you are a very important component of this society. You must be reading every day in the newspaper You must be aware about the certain statistics available around. What are those statistics? In society, the maximum problem exists of what? Of disconnect. A lot of actually families are actually suffering because of what? Because there is a disconnect between the family. Mind well, connection between the two people is very, very important to run this and serve this society in a better way. Then where actually they are going to learn? Are you going to actually conduct any examination whether they are connecting with each other or not? No, there is no examination for it. We need to actually nurture this all in the classroom and tell them how this is important actually for them, not in their personal life, even in their professional life as well. And third, which is equally important, what is that? That is communication. We have to create students who are having ability to express, communicate. Why? Why that is so important in 21st century? Because that is seen across, if you are not good in communication and expression, that leads to miscommunication, and that miscommunication leads to a lot of problems in life. And competition is enormous outside. When we are preparing a student to face the competition, we need to equip them with the requirement of this. And that's why we need to nurture our student accordingly. That's why we need to now nurture our student accordingly and responsibly line with you. Correct? Then followed by, if that is the case, then what is your role as a teacher? What is your role in 21st century? When a lot of challenges are across, then we need to tell their role is guide on the side and no longer sage on the stage. No longer sage on the stage. What does that mean? What is the value of it? The value of it in the conventional teaching, because now we need to help them to think out of the box. Taking them from conventional thinking to non-conventional thinking. And tell them here what is happening in the general classroom. Teachers are actually teaching to the students. Teacher is looking at the students and students are looking at the teacher. They are all looking opposite to each other. And you are expecting them to actually grow and develop. Demand is different. Expectations are different. Situation is different. No, my dear friend. This is not going to actually work. What is expected? You have to become a partner in their learning. And how actually you can do that? How actually you can do that? Let student, being a student, let him look at this side, if at all, and you become a partner and look along with him in the same direction. And probably this will certainly help you. This will certainly help you to actually make him partner in their learning. Otherwise, what happens? When we now see opposite to each other, the confrontation comes. And in the confrontation, we cannot learn so effectively, neither we can make anybody partners. Gone those days, 21st century required different approach. And that's why guide on the side, that's your role. Secondly, followed by more coaching and modeling and less telling to them. Take a pause and just ask this question to them. What is the question? Now, my dear teacher, you are sitting here. You must be having your own kids. Tell me honestly, if you tell your words, are they listening to you? And definitely a question and answer will come, sir, it's very difficult. When you don't know how to handle your own kids, I understand how difficult it must be for you to handle 40 kids in your class. Why so? Because they're all 21st century students. They don't like somebody telling to them. And what is happening in the teaching? In general, we are all telling to them, do this, do that. Why are they supposed to listen to you? So that's why we need to now draw their attention. Probably telling is not going to enough. Then what is expected? Coach there. That is very important. Because teaching that always happen in common, which doesn't give you guarantee, since you are teaching them, they are going to learn something from you. No guarantee at all. Which is not actually going to work in the classroom, my dear friend. And what is most important, a very popular word across, that is coaching. We need to now go one step ahead, coach them. Then how to coach them? Identify the issues and problems, group them in a small groups. Identify what are the issues they have actually in the learning and give them that kind of actually emotional touch. Okay, don't worry. If teaching not helping you, let me actually understand your issues and problem and try to actually help in the form of coaching. No need to actually go outside anywhere. Sit with them in the classroom. Sit with them actually whenever actually time permits you. Understand their issues. That's coaching. Because coaching that happens always is specific requirement, which is different from the teaching, because teaching that always we do in common, which is not sufficient in 21st century, I'm telling you. And probably this is also actually one of the reasons why students are actually distancing themselves actually from the class. And literally it became a distance learning education, I'm telling you. Why? Because they don't see actually worth in, they don't see actually that level of actually interest, they don't see actually what they're expecting is actually serve them in the class. So that's why this point is very, very important in 21st century, since you are representing actually 21st century as a student, as a teacher. Then what? Your role is to find out more with the students and the less being the expert on them. What that means? And trigger actually this thought in their mind. Mind well, my dear friends, students are not interested at all seeing your experience. Students are not interested at all seeing actually your degrees. Students are not interested actually how many times you presented what kind of actually paper in which country. They are very smart. They know what actually you are doing actually for saving your job. You tell me you are a teacher, whether you have that ability and skill to find out in me what is good in me, then you are a teacher for me. They are not interested at all in your degree. So mind well, if that is the case, then we need to actually have an approach towards the students. Okay, my dear friend, I am there to actually help you, because their expectation is that. And until that expectation is not served, mind well, we are not actually going to actually create that bond and the place in their heart. So more finding out with the student, because that is seen across. That is seen across. Why I am referring this point and stressing so much. Take a cross section of actually students who came actually in the merit, and those actually students were sitting at the back. You will find those students were mediocres. And if I ask this question to you, tell me, my dear friend, who are your favorite celebrity? Tell me. You just have to throw this question to them and ask few at least, and you will realize the name actually what they are going to refer, hardly there will be any meritorious student. Then ask this and throw this question to them. Tell me how many times actually these all people to whom actually referred as a celebrity and ideal people and icons, they were all meritorious students when they were students. Then they realized, no, you're right. So life is something else. They reached to that level to whom actually now people they referred as an icon, not only on the basis of their academic. They became an icon on the basis of their own talent, which was actually hiding inside. And your work as a facilitator is this, to help students actually find out what they are good in and push them, give them that confidence. As my guarantee, they will not actually forget you as a teacher in their life. So, the 21st century demand this. What else? More cross-disciplinary thinking and the lesser specialization. What is actually moving towards this? That's why we have to move accordingly. Tell me, when we are teaching student any subject for that matter, we are teaching them this all in isolation, giving it that much of actually importance. Tell me and ask this question to them, can we actually claim on that life is all about the mathematics? Life is only about the language? Life is all actually about the geography? Life is all about the science? No. The moment the same student actually, when he goes out and become a part of the society, out of the classroom, what he sees? You see, the world is all about the mix. Everything is actually interconnected with. When world is all actually about the interdisciplinary, then we need to actually have that approach inside in the classroom and tell them why we are learning so many subjects together and how they are interconnected. that is referred as an interdisciplinary. Mind well, my dear friend, until and unless they don't connect one subject with the other subject, they will not understand. They are all students. They will not actually understand why actually we are learning so many subjects together. Until and unless we don't tell them that this is all interdisciplinary. And can we do this alone? That is the question. Not possible to actually do this alone. Then who is required? Teamwork is required. We cannot actually do this in isolation, neither in privacy. Until unless we, as a teacher community, either in the institute, even out of the institute, doesn't come together, which is not possible. Then what happened? What is the reality? Just like you throw this question to them. We have seen across, in majority of the institute, what we have seen. Our maths teacher is not actually speaking to English teacher. English teacher is not actually speaking to science teacher. Science teacher is not actually speaking to history teacher. We are all actually working in isolation, giving actually equal importance to actually every individual, or actually importance to individuals. Then how students are going to actually learn this? What interdisciplinary is all about? That's why we, as a teacher community, we need to actually come together and show them the example. We are all united. We are there to actually help you and making you understand how these all related to each other. That's why teamwork is required. Correct? Now, my dear friend, one more point which is equally important: more multi-dimensional assessment and laser pen testing. Throw this question to them again. What is the value of it? And ask this question. Tell me, dear friends, you are a teacher since long time. Have you seen any student coming in examination very happily? What do we see? When they come for the examination, they always actually carry fear in their mind, lot of anxiety in their mind, lot of nervousness, lot of actually depression in their mind. Yes or no? And you will get the reply, yes sir, majority of the cases actually we experience the same. Then tell, if you carry fear in your mind, if you carry anxiety in your mind, if you have actually depression in your mind, are you going to actually have that intrinsic kind of environment of learning something? Not possible. And how many times you are testing them with this all unit test, this test, that test? At least 6 times in a year minimum. So by force that you are creating that fear in their mind about the learning and about the examination. Are we doing the right thing? Can we actually find out some better alternate? And there is a provision. There is a provision in the system of any board for that matter. I am telling you, there is a directives actually given to all the state board and CBSE board and universities. Nowhere that is mentioned, only paper and pencil test is approved, rest all tests are not valid. But this is teachers' convenient. They always actually go by this test which create a fear and the anxiety in their mind. Why not actually find out some better alternates? And let actually create the situation and let actually imagine that situation. Student actually coming and asking, ma'am, प्लीज मेरा एग्जाम ले लीजिए, प्लीज मेरा असेसमेंट कर लीजिए, प्लीज मुझे इवैल्यूएट कर लीजिए हैप्पीली. What will be the situation? What will be the scenario? Just imagine, my dear friend. Students are actually coming willingly on their own and asking for this assessment and evaluation. That is quite possible. Why not? We will actually find out some different alternate to this pen and pencil testing, which is vanishing very fast across, and nobody is recommending nowadays. And we also have to follow the same. If at all we want to develop that interest about the learning in their mind. And this is also equally important. More performance-based assessment and the less knowledge-based assessment. What is this? And how we can do this? What is happening? We are giving them marks. In fact, in this education system, the most difficult part is to fail. Once upon a time, there was a situation. It was very, very difficult to come in the merit. But if just this current scenario is very difficult to fail. And what is happening? Students are now scoring 95, 99, 100s. They carry actually something in their mind, and they are correlating, and we also correlating as a teacher their knowledge with the percentage. And they carry this false assumption in their mind. Just imagine, my dear friend, the situation I am referring here. The student who came in merit in 10th standard, 12th standard, graduation and whatever he did later on, and he got the job. He got the job in any of the company. But have you experienced any time the higher up is referring to all other people? Now my dear friend is a new employee, is a very meritorious and knowledgeable. He came in merit in the 10th, 12th and graduation. He recently joined our organization. Very knowledgeable. Don't give him a job. Don't give him any work. Let him actually sit ideal. He is very knowledgeable. We have not seen. The assessment of that fellow, irrespective of knowledge what he possesses, is done on the basis of his performance. Mind well. And throughout, right from school to college, he was assessed to have a knowledge on the basis of this degree and percentage. Never he was assessed on the basis of performance. The same fellow, he failed there and he struggled to actually perform. Responsibility lies with us as a teacher. And that's why the new system came in. What new system came in? You know much better than anybody else. You are a part of it. A lot of circulars also you must have received. From the board, from the university and from everywhere. We need to give them assignment. We need to give them some of the tasks. The live project, operation workout is for what? To convert their knowledge into performance and develop that kind of self-motivation and the confidence in them. Yes, let any situation come, I am ready to perform out there. That courage and confidence, from where it will come? It might well, my dear friend. Since this responsibility is given to them to convert their knowledge into performance, whatever tools we have, you know better what are the tools I am referring. Utilize those all tools very effectively to help your student to do something great in their career, and roots you are responsible for creating. This is the expectation we have in 21st century, since we are dealing with a delicate matter of their life. If that is the case, then you being responsible component of this organization, institute, and as a teacher, I am sure you just say the same I am telling you. I am sure you must be knowing about this. Say boldly. Say boldly. Why so? Because you are having authority to say something on this. And very unfortunate part, I am telling you, very unfortunate part, 99% teachers that don't know anything about it. And that's why I am referring, say this boldly, because this is the need of the hours I am telling you. And through this question, I hope you must be knowing about it. You will get reply, sir, honestly we don't know about it. Accept those, respect. Directly explain what Bloom taxonomy is all about. And explain what is the significance of this as an every individual. And state even boldly no government can change the fate of country. No politician party can change the fate of this country except teacher and educational system. And start this explaining what Bloom taxonomy is all about. What is this? Now my dear friend, just imagine your student coming in your class. He comes with certain thinking. He remains with you for an entire year. And while going out for the next class, what do you expect? He goes the same thinking? Or your role is there to help him to now enhance his own thinking skill? And exactly on that, this Bloom taxonomy is based, and Bloom is one of the very great scientists who designed this. And all big institute, all highly reputed institute, they follow this in total because there's a worth in it. And what says? Student comes, he comes with the thinking. We consider this as the lowest order of thinking, and we have to help student to move from lower order of thinking towards higher order of thinking. And he cannot start thinking on his own. We are the mediators there. And what Bloom says about it? Very interesting, because we are all part of this system. And what system says and what we are creating, that we are going to see here. What is this? According to Bloom's, the lowest order of thinking is remembering. Take a pause, at least for a few seconds. Let them think what we are referring to. What says by Bloom's? If students are actually remembering and writing something in examination, rest assured he is at